All right, what's up, guys? Today's lesson is lesson 4-1, extending multiplication facts. So we're going to use multiples of 10 in order to help us extend these facts. So when you're extending a multiplication fact by a multiple of 10, you must always simply use your knowledge of multiplication to help you. All right, so multiplying by 10, 100, 1,000, whatever it is, you're multiplying each one of these factors by that. So we're going to kind of go into the steps of extending our facts, and let's see if we can actually do a couple problems with those. All right, so first, you are going to be more than likely provided with the original fact, which is a simple multiplication problem like 6 times 4 equals 24. So they're probably going to be giving you a multiplication fact triangle. And so what you'll do is you'll see a 4, you'll see a 6, and you'll see a 24. All it's saying is 4 times 6 is 24, 6 times 4 is 24. And it's just giving you all the facts that go together for a fact family, but we're going to use them in multiplication. Okay? All right, step 2, secondly, you are going to more than likely see a pattern or be instructed to extend the multiplication facts by 10, 100, 1,000, etc. beyond that, okay? So you're mostly focusing on those multiples of 10 at that point. So if we look at this example that I have provided on here, it says, so 6 times 4 is 24. So we know that. But to extend it, you can multiply one factor by 10. So one of those factors is either going to be 6 or it's going to be 4. Okay? So I can say 60 times 4 equals 240. By multiplying the 6 by 10, you have now created 60 times 4, which equals 240. Now, a hint that I always give my students is when figuring out 60 times 4, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a 2-digit by 1-digit. It's a huge number. Just do this first. Multiply 6 times 4 first, which equals 24, and then add a 0 at the end of that 24 or that product. Okay, so now it's 240. Same thing if you were multiplying by 600. 6 times 4 is 24. Add 2 zeros to the end of 24. You have 2,400. All right. Lastly, you can also extend a fact by multiplying one factor by 100 or multiplying both factors by 10 or etc. beyond that. Okay. So an example, we have 3 times 5 equals 15. That's my original fact. If I wanted to extend that, I could do 30 times 5 equals 150. Well, I could also do 50 times 3 equals 150. Or I could do 300 times 5 equals 1,500. Or 500 times 3 equals 1,500. Or I could even do 30 times 50 equals 1,500. Well, Mr. Collins, how do I figure out 30 times 50? Good gracious. You do 3 times 5, which is 15, and then you add 2 zeros. So if you have anything that ends with a 0, any kind of factor that ends with a 0, when you're multiplying it together, add that 0 to the end. So now you have 1,500 because 3 times 5 is 15. Add your 2 zeros to the end. All right, so let's look at a problem in your everyday math book. All right, so this is lesson 4-1. All right, so this might be a little fuzzy. That's all right, okay, because we can actually look at this. All right, so my example up here is 2 times 3 equals 6. Got it. 2 times 3 equals 6. That's my original fact because I have 2, I have a 3, and I have a 6 here. All right, so now I have to extend my fact by tens. Okay, so now I'm going to do 20 times 3. Okay, so let me get my pen out. All right, so 20 times 3. Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and add a 0. 60. All right, all I'm doing is adding a 0 because I'm multiplying by 10. Next, an extended fact by hundreds. So now I'm going to do 200 times 3 for my example. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. How many zeros do I have? 2. 1, 2. Okay. So we'll do number 1 first, and then I'll have you do the rest of the page. And then page 106, I'm going to have you do that page as well. Okay. All right. So we have 6, 8, and 48. So my original fact, I can either write 6 times 8 is 48 or 8 times 6 is 48. I'm going to write 6 times 8 equals 48. And sorry about all the clicking. Okay. All right. So 6 times 8 equals 48. Well, I need to extend this fact. What did they tell me? Then extend the fact by changing the first factor, first a multiple of 10 and then a multiple of 100. So for the first fact, I have to multiply this by 10. All right. So I can choose whichever factor I want to choose, and I extend by 10. So I'm going to choose 8. So 6 times 80 equals, well, 6 times 8 is 48. And then I have a 0 at the end, so 480. Now, I'm going to stay with that same factor of 8, okay, and extend that by 100. So I'm going to do 6 times 800. And again, I have 6 times 8, which equals 48. I'll write it down here. And then I have 2 zeros after the 8. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, comma. 4,800. It's pretty simple when you kind of go through the steps and you practice it and practice it and practice it. Okay, so do numbers 2, 3, and 4. So do those, and oh, that doesn't look like that's a 4. That looks like it's a 5. All right. Oh, 4 is right here. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. Complete those on this page. Go to the next page on your slide and complete that page, and then do your math boxes. Okay. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, ask your teacher.